we head into the fourth round of the F1 2019 season. There is a lot of news that has broken out in between round 3 and round 4 of this 2019 season, so without further ado, let's get straight into it. First of all then, Red Bull's court case has been delayed due to a potential settlement agreement. Red Bull was due to go and get sent into court after they failed to tell any members of the Toro Rosso team that they were shutting the team down, and of course giving no forms of redundancy payments to any of them. However, Red Bull are now in discussions with everyone that used to work for Toro Rosso and those that have actually managed to find a new job to sort out a potential settlement agreement to avoid going into court. There are a lot of teams that do not wish to go into court about this, and even potential staff members, they just want a settlement agreement, and this is what Red Bull are set to do, which is why the court case has now been delayed. Police have actually managed to find out that Pastor Maldonado did not commit his sexual crime alone. Now, at the start of this season, we found out that during the winter break of the F1 season, that former F1 driver Pastor Maldonado was actually charged with some form of sexual assault. We didn't know anything about it. However, now a lot more updates have started to come out about this, and initially this entire case has been kept extremely silent, which is why we've heard nothing about it. But now we're starting to hear a bit more about it, and we can confirm that there is something else that happened in this crime, and that Pastor Maldonado never did this by himself. In fact, we now know that Pastor Maldonado didn't even want to do this in the first place. It looks like someone else is involved in this mix and has really stirred up the pot for Pastor Maldonado. We'll have to find out in the coming weeks or months, or however long it takes for any more of this case to come on through to us, about what did Pastor Maldonado do, why was he forced to do this, and what were the repercussions if he didn't. But next up then, Jenson Button has praised Tom Fox and Lewis Hamilton for their fighting spirit in their ongoing case about this entire drug scandal, which just doesn't seem to end. We are understanding that there is a hearing for this case to try and get these 7 people that messed up many sporting stars' drug samples arrested. We don't know when it is, we don't know what date as of yet, we just know that there is a hearing soon, as Tom and Hamilton are keeping very, very quiet on the matter. Finally, Sebastian Vettel has been charged with drink driving here in Austria. It was shown that on Wednesday night, Sebastian Vettel arrived in Austria and went out with a couple of his friends and was caught drink driving. Police have charged him with this, and we're not sure if Sebastian Vettel is going to be banned from driving for the time being, but yeah, not too good. Not good news for Sebastian Vettel as he heads into a crucial weekend to the championship contender with that playing on his mind. Moving on then to the Formula 1 news heading into this Austrian Grand Prix, and it's time to see how the drivers and how the teams are feeling going into this race. First of all, Red Bull are feeling confident that they can get a good result here in Austria at their home Grand Prix. Red Bull have been struggling all season long to really just get to grips with their car, and Alonso and Sainz have been struggling with it, but they say that they're looking strong here in Austria. Lando Norris is another driver that is looking strong. He looks very, very quick in his McLaren heading into this Austrian Grand Prix. Norris, of course, was the star of the hour in the Brazilian Grand Prix, but he fell straight back to square one when he crashed in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and now he's looking to bounce back and show that his form was not a one-off thing and that it is continuous and he can keep being strong. Also then, Audi are struggling with their race pace. Audi have admitted that in qualifying they seem to be looking strong and also very, very fast, but in the race they just don't seem to have it all together. They seem to be seriously struggling to follow cars a lot more with their recent package that they brought out, and their tyre wear isn't really helping them out, so Audi are not expecting an easy race, so they're going to try and use track position in qualifying to get as high up as they can in this race. Without further ado, let's get into round 4 of the 2019 season. It's time for the Austrian Grand Prix. Yo, what's going on guys, it is FoxyDude98 here, and welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on the channel. Today we are back with the F1 Journey round 4 here for the Austrian Grand Prix, and as you can see, this is my first qualifying lap here around this amazing Austrian Grand Prix circuit, and straight from practice I felt absolutely hooked up around here with the initial setup that I put on the car, and as you can see we go ahead and set a 1 minute 6.912, which was a couple of hundredths of a second faster than Lewis Hamilton did in that session. And as you can see now, we're going on board here for my final run here in Q2, and honestly it was probably one of my best laps I've ever done in a Formula 1 game. I felt so satisfied after doing it. So as we come through turn 1, we took way too much curbing there, and it actually compromised our line a little bit, went a little bit wide on the exit of 2, so we could have been a bit better there. As we go in towards turn 2 now, we sort of a little bit hesitant on the brakes there, but a very nice run through there. get the power down nice and quickly, short shift through the traction there to make sure, through the gears even, so we can get better traction. And as you can see now, we're pressing forwards. And as we go in towards turn 3 now, as I call it, it's not really turn 4, even though you can class it as turn 3 as we get too much there on the curb. Losing the back end of the car, horrible through there. And now, as you can see, coming through this corner, we actually lose the entire time that we had gained. We actually lost it, unfortunately, which is a little bit of a shame. But here now, coming through this high-speed left-right section, you can see we gain that time back. So now, we're still 2/10 up on our current delta, and this is where I loved it now. Through this final corner, 7th gear, breakdown 1. Fly it through there, drop it into 5th gear, nice and wide on the exit, take as much curbing as necessary, keep the car nice and straight as you make the charge towards the line, and it's going to be a 1:06.7, I believe it was then. So what an epic lap that was, and it wasn't even an outright best lap. There was still plenty of time to gain, I felt, on that lap, but it's a 1:06.7, it's 1:06.676, exactly 0.3 of a second faster than Lewis Hamilton, and it's pole position for this Austrian Grand Prix. And I think that is that my first pole position of the season? I think it might be, actually. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember, but I think it might be my first pole position of the year. I could be wrong on that one, though. So, yeah, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. You'll know the series more than I do. Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. But anyway, then, we're on the grid now for the Austrian Grand Prix. As you can see, we have got 4, now 5 red lights here for the Austrian Grand Prix, and it is lights out. We go here to start the Austrian Grand Prix. It's been a good start from us up into the first place as we come in towards turn 1. Hamilton gets away slightly poor, actually, and in towards the first corner. Verstappen's going to have a great run here, and around the outside of turn 1, to be honest, he's actually stuck with it. So Verstappen now is the man on the move, but Lewis Hamilton with better straight line speed as they come up towards turn 2. Verstappen now tucking inside the slipstream here. Now Ricciardo and Vettel look like they're interested in attacking Max Verstappen, as Ricciardo now trying to have a look down the inside. Vettel making contact with one of the Red Bulls there, as Vettel losing out there on track position. Ricciardo now getting a great run here towards turn 3. Here comes Daniel Ricciardo now making a move down towards the inside here. Can he make this one stick on Max Verstappen? Verstappen under huge pressure now. Great start from the Dutchman, but he's just lost it in this start phase, and he's having to hold off Ricciardo, and they're still going side by side. It's in towards this middle sector. Verstappen should have the inside line here, and Ricciardo will have to back out of it ever so slightly. And yeah, apologies, you may have seen a bit of stuttering then on the replay cams. My game was very freezy when I did this, so the replay cams maybe a tad stuttery. But as we come in towards turn 2 now here, Verstappen having to defend against Ricciardo once again. So Verstappen is once again, it's kind of like, I think it was from the last Grand Prix, Verstappen just not quick off the start of this race. He just doesn't get himself warmed up enough, ready for the race. That could be something to do with the formation lap, getting the tyres in a good working range, or it could just be that his first laps and his just initial starts are just not that good enough. But you can already see Hamilton running away with this one, and of course I'm in the lead of the race, so I'm running even further. There I go, and there's me and Hamilton, so we're separated by about a second at this moment in time. And again, you can see Hamilton still following me. He's about 1.3 back in this stage of the race, but Verstappen again has to go defensive on Daniel Ricciardo in towards turn 2 now, where Verstappen goes to the inside line, Ricciardo goes to the outside line, and this time Ricciardo just manages to get the better run. And if you can go around the outside, it is actually more beneficial when making an overtake, and there you can see why. You just get a better drive off the exit, and if you're a quicker car, going around the outside is much better for you if you can make it stick round there. And as you can see, Daniel Ricciardo did just that, and you can already see that he's pulling away straight off the back, because we've got one of the Audis there who's got an engine failure in the background. Sebastian Vettel, I think Vettel's the one in front as they come towards turn 2 now. It's Alonso attacking in, as we can see that is Sebastian Vettel that is still running. So Nico Rosberg has gone out of this Grand Prix with an engine failure. So that's heartbreak for Audi, who is running in a very competitive position. Vettel was just in front of Rosberg as Carlos Sainz now goes down the inside of turn 2 on Max Verstappen, and Verstappen losing even more places at the start of this Grand Prix. He is not performing well in the early phases of this Austrian Grand Prix, and it is now myself ahead of Hamilton, ahead of Ricciardo, ahead of Sainz, ahead of Max Verstappen. But onto and further on into the Grand Prix now, Verstappen is coming back at the Red Bull here of Carlos Sainz, and Verstappen finding his feet a little bit now in this Grand Prix. Around the outside and towards turn 1. Lovely move there, keeping it nice and planted as well on the throttle. And as they make the charge towards turn 2, it's going to be about who has got more speed. And yes, I know the hairpin is technically classed as turn 3, but that left-hand kink there, I don't class it as a corner in Formula 1, because it isn't one. It's just a left-handed kink. So, yeah, that's why I'm referring it to the old layout. But as you can see, though, Verstappen does make the move stick here as he goes around the outside. Sainz does have DRS, but Verstappen is just that much faster in a straight line that he's still matching with Carlos Sainz. And as he goes now down the inside here in towards turn 3 now, and Sainz is trying to make this move stick, and I think he's just about got this one here. I think Verstappen will have to hold on, but he's still got a bit more fighting to do here. Verstappen, though, holding it in there. Great stuff between the two former teammates, Carlos Sainz and Verstappen, when they're in their Toro Rosso days. And as they go now round through towards the high-speed second sector here, you can see Verstappen stays in front. Meanwhile, on to lap 13, by the way. I just want to let you guys know that I am still racing in this race, but I've got no one to trouble me at the moment. Nice corner there. But as I come in towards there's a replay of my nice corner. It's time for my pit stop. And, yeah, this is a very clean entry there, Tom. Great entry into the pits. I'll tell you what happened. Basically, as I was coming through there, I have pit assist on, so basically it just takes control of my car, does it for me, so I can have a little bit of a break, give my hands a little bit of a, get them out of the sweaty zone, yeah, it turns out that it didn't control my car what I expected it to, so I just went flying off into the grass, basically. But it's okay, it's a little bit of a compromise, but as long as we rejoin in front of Lewis Hamilton, that's our main target, because Hamilton did come in earlier, which has already suggested to me that he's doing the 2-stop race, whereas I'm doing the 1-stop. I've got onto a set of the soft tyres, and I'm going to be taking these now all the way to the end of the Grand Prix, as I have managed to drag my ultra soft tyres a good 14 laps, which is a very solid first stint, and I didn't have to push overly hard. Hamilton definitely stuck with me very well, and you can see here onto lap 15 now. Hamilton 2.4 seconds back on a set of super soft tyres, and Pierre Gasly leads the race on soft tyres. I definitely want to get past Gasly as quick as I possibly can. I need to try and build myself a little bit of a gap over Lewis Hamilton, because technically in this stage of the race here, Hamilton should be quite quick, and as you can see, Gasly gets all out of shape into the last corner. We've got DRS now here on the straight. We are actually going to make an overtake in this Grand Prix, and we managed to get the job done on Pierre Gasly, and as you can see, I run wide off of the first corner there and bounce over the curb and get myself back on track. And Gasly now may have a look in towards turn 2, but it looks like he's too far back, and that's now a nice comfortable little buffer that I have. I've got a car now in the way of myself and Lewis Hamilton, who is 2.4 seconds back. On to lap 24 of the Grand Prix, and I'm still on my own, and Lewis Hamilton has made his second pit stop, as unfortunately Antonio Giovinazzi has retired from the Grand Prix, and the DRS has been disabled there. And for the second time now in this recording, both my phone and my tablet have now buzzed. I should have turned them off, and I am unprofessional, but it is what it is. As the virtual safety car comes out for the incident involving Antonio Giovinazzi, kind of was hoping for a safety car so I could just pit for a set of super soft tyres, or maybe even a set of ultra soft tyres if I had any left. And just blitz it to the end of the race and have some fun, pump in some really hot laps. But the safety car never came out, and I would have actually had enough of a gap to do so, because I have 22 seconds in hand over Max Verstappen. Such has been the dominance in this race, and Hamilton hasn't made the 2-stop work. He needed to get past me, really, in order for this to make any moves stick. Further back, though, we've got a little bit of a fight here. Now, Lando Norris is once again starting to shine, as he is now currently in 3rd place in this Grand Prix, in the podium places, but that is about to end quite quickly, as Fernando Alonso here, with a great move around the outside towards turn 2. He gets the move done, and he's in front of Lando Norris, and pushes him down into P4. You just saw Verstappen there on the edge of the screen now. But there is one man who is on the charge, and that is the Mercedes man, Lewis Hamilton. He is on 2-stop race. He has got much fresher super soft tyres compared to the worn soft tyres, and he gets a much better run here against Lando Norris. So down the inside into the sector last corner, still has to fight it a little bit. Norris not giving him an easy time here, and eventually Lewis Hamilton makes it stick, and he's up into 4th place, and now he's trying to fight back to get onto the podium here at this Austrian Grand Prix and try and upset Red Bull, who of course want a podium at their home Grand Prix, but I don't know if it's going to happen here. And once again, look at the run that Hamilton gets out of that middle sector on fresh tyres. Alonso has got nothing to fight for, and into the sector last corner, Hamilton cleanly gets that move, and now if he's got enough laps left in the bag, he can try and chase after Max Verstappen and claim P3 in this Grand Prix. Onto the final lap of the Grand Prix, though. My race was quiet. I think I led every single lap. No, I didn't, actually, because Pierre Gasly did. But I virtually led every single lap of this Grand Prix. I love the setup for the car in this race, and it's going to be the victory here at the Austrian Grand Prix. My most dominant race probably ever in the F1 journey. I've never had, actually no, maybe Canada in Season 1, I'd say. But as you can see then, it is a 1-2 for Ferrari here in the Styrian Mountains. Lewis Hamilton finishes in P3 ahead of Fernando Alonso. Lando Norris with an awesome result to finish in 5th ahead of Ricciardo. Hartley gets more points for Jaguar. Perez also getting points for Williams. And Sainz ahead of Pascal Wehrlein. Let's move into the Drivers' Championship. Alright then, so let's have a look at the Drivers' Championship and see where everybody's at as we head on to the end of the 4th round of this Grand Prix. As you can see then, we are on 83 points and we have now built ourselves a 20-point lead over Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship. With Verstappen on 63 points. It's a very big gap at this start of the season, but of course, we've still got plenty of rounds to go. And plenty of opportunities for other drivers to make gains. I'm just currently going through a good run of form, and Austria and Canada, which is the next race, are both two of my strongest tracks in the game. So obviously I'm taking advantage of the tracks that I'm good at, and obviously with this car being amazing at the moment, it's obviously how it is. The two Mercedes cars are next with Ricciardo in front of Hamilton by just the 1 point today, and Sebastian Vettel drops down to 5th in the championship after failing to actually score in this Grand Prix. He did finish, but he only finished 11th, so it was an awful race for Vettel. Lando Norris is now on 29 points in the McLaren, and he jumps both Alonso and Sainz in the two Red Bulls, who are both on 22 points. Brendan Hartley is also on 20 points in the Jaguar, closing in on the Red Bulls now, and Stoffel Van Dorn in the McLaren there on 14 points. Pascal Wehrlein is tied on points with Sergio Perez, who are both together on 7 points each. Nico Rosberg is there on 2 after he failed to finish, and Ocon has a point, and Gasly, Hulkenberg, Kubica, Bottas, Leclerc and Giovinazzi are still yet to score. Taking a look at the Constructors' Championship then, as we head into the end of the 4th round of this season, Ferrari are continuing where they've left off from the start of this season and all of last season, as they are once again top of the championship by a good margin on 146 points ahead of Mercedes-Benz, who are on 93 points. Aston Martin, Red Bull Racing still continuing with their difficult season, and it appears that the fight at the top has now gone away from Ferrari, Mercedes and Red Bull, and even Audi for that matter, and it's now gone to a fight between Ferrari and Mercedes at the top, with Red Bull, McLaren and Audi battling it out for that P3 spot. Jaguar are on 20 points in the Constructors' Championship, and honestly, Jaguar could as well be up there fighting with Red Bull, McLaren and Audi. They just need Pierre Gasly to get a good run of form in, as he hasn't actually currently yet scored a point. It's only been Brendan Hartley doing the work. Force India are on 8 points with Williams Porsche on 7 points, and that battle is getting close with Renault and BMW Sauber still trying to break the deadlock and get their first points. But guys, that's going to be it for the F1 journey for this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, feel free to drop it a like, subscribe if you're new around here as well. Don't forget to click that bell so you get instant notifications when I do upload a video here on the channel. Otherwise, YouTube will not tell you, because they're getting worse and worse and worse with notifying and subscription boxes and all of that. And until then, guys, thank you very much for being so supportive, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care all. Peace.